All right, good afternoon. So today we are discussing Africa. We're picking up where we left last Monday. So what were you discussing?
Oh, last Monday I failed to recording.
Oh,
Disappeared. Overwritten everything.
really?
Yeah, gone
Very nice.
last Monday.
Okay. So what we were discussing, we were looking at Africa and we're looking at presidents, and we were actually talking about democracy and whether Africa needs democracy, whether democracy will always bring the best solutions. And I remember that our discussion was mainly, you said, okay, well, you need to be careful what you wish for. If you're going to engage in Africa is not really ready for a democratic system. That takes time. But so that there is actually some truth to it. There seems to be, actually, there's not only seems to be, there is, they did find a positive correlation between democracy and the level of economic growth. But that relationship is only valid after a certain level of development. So actually, if you want to stimulate the economy, if you want to stimulate the country, then democracy will not contribute a lot if you're still in a situation of poverty. So once countries start to outgrow their poverty, once they reach a certain level of wealth, implementing democracy at that time will actually contribute to economic growth, not below that. So some countries will need to, they might be better off having for example, a kind of like a benevolent leader, like Paul Kagame in Rwanda. There are some voices who are saying, well, we need a model like China, for example. That would be more beneficial than having democracy. United States, Europe have always been advocating democracy and wanted African nations to implement democracy. When we look at the United States today, then the policy has changed with President Trump, and basically he doesn't care so much about democracy and whether African nations implement democracy or not. United States is just as comfortable dealing with autocratic leaders, and some autocratic leaders are also praising Trump for not trying to get engaged into their internal affairs. Museveni was quoted saying that Trump was the best president that the United States had in years, at least for him. That's because basically he's United States takes a more of a hands-off approach. And the United States has always used the veil of democracy to divide.
You're talking about Africa?
Talking about Africa. Yeah.
Trump is he doesn't concern for Africa, right?
He is not so concerned about Africa, and he certainly is not driving a democratic agenda. So former American presidents have always tried to sell the idea that African nations should become democratic. Trump couldn't care less whether they're democratic or not. As long as he can do business with them, everything is fine. And a lot of African leaders can appreciate that. They do find Trump is not trying to interfere with their internal affairs. So they appreciate that. Africa itself has some challenges in the democratization process. It's not a linear process where we can see more and more countries getting more democratic. Actually, later on today, we'll have a look at an article of, I think, of the BBC that is actually telling us that Africa is getting less democratic. Now, if you look at this list, it's a list of leaders who have been in power for a long time. Paul Biya in Cameroon, 43 years. Mugabe, 37 years. They're famous people. We have Paul Kagame, who is also in power for a long time. Recently, we've seen some people who stepped down from power. What was the latest? Who was that?
This is Museveni, 3 days ago. Uganda.
He stepped down 3 days ago?
Yeah, Museveni.
Really? I did not catch that.
Oh, no. Step down.
No, I don't think it was a
that's
different guy.
Yeah.
So, yeah, no, I think I know who you mean.
Ethiopia.
Was it Ethiopia?
Buferica. Ethiopian president.
Where did they have elections recently? And
Ethiopia.
was it Ethiopia? I think I was looking for a different. I was looking for a country in West Africa.
West Africa.
Mali? No.
Kabila? Joseph
Kabila. No. Kabila is already out of power for a longer time, no? Not true. Actually, he's the president still, but they have a prime minister. But Kabila is still.
No. Kabila stepped down.
He stepped down.
But he has still big power for this government. But Kabila stepped down. New president there.
Right. So I have a little video about.
Which country are you talking about?
Yeah, I'm talking about. I read this 2 days ago.
Recent one is Ethiopia.
I read this 2 days ago. So
2 days ago?
Yeah. I was looking for information. But no, I don't. Maybe it was not the latest news. But I was doing research in preparation for today 2 days ago.
Oh, close everything. They don't open. Oh, data set. Everything is still closed.
What's that?
I just recovered page. This is just 2 days ago. President?
Actually, maybe.
New president?
So actually, the opposition leader won, but then the election result was contested, as always.
Algeria.
Ah,
Algeria? Buftelica is the step down.
yeah,
Algeria.
yeah.
I'm mistaken.
Yeah.
Buftelica step
Yeah.
down. This one?
Yeah, Algeria.
Okay, same as
yeah,
mine.
Yeah.
Okay, same as mine.
So yeah.
Where is this one?
Right. So there is this difficulty to actually let go of power, and democracy doesn't always work well. It's not only the system that takes time for people to get used to, but the whole democratic process, the media, the role of the media, the role of the vested interest that the current presidents have to control the media, will make it a difficult a challenge to implement democracy.
Where did you get information?
Algeria.
Trump are not concerned about African democracy.
Oh, BBC. I think I probably have a link about it. And BBC was Museveni. He praised Trump because of that. So this is a list, and so we have concerns about